I was 23 the first time I sat at a formal table in Paris and realized I had been doing something wrong. Not embarrassingly wrong, invisibly wrong. The kind of wrong that nobody corrects you on because the people who know better have already made their assessment and moved on. The host was a friend of my mother's from Lyon, old family. The kind of woman who set her table the same way every single evening, whether guests were coming or not. I reached for my bread the moment I sat down. She said nothing. She simply waited. And when I watched everyone else begin differently, I understood. That evening cost me nothing to attend. But what I learned at that table, I have been using ever since. I'm Isabel Vargas. Welcome back to Madre, or welcome for the first time. This channel exists for one kind of woman, the one who is done settling for ordinary. Subscribe right now if you are new, you belong here. Drop your city in the comments. I'm always down there reading. Now the manners, and not the ones you already know. 1. Bread is broken, never cut, never bitten whole. This one is verified. It goes back centuries. Baron Staff, France's most authoritative voice on table etiquette in the 19th century, explicitly prohibited cutting bread or biting directly into a whole piece. The rule has never changed. You tear a small bite-sized piece, you eat that piece, you tear another when you need it. The bread never goes on your plate. It goes directly on the tablecloth or on a bread plate if one is provided. Why does this matter beyond France? Because it signals patience. It signals that you are not eating from urgency. You are at the table as a social act, not a feeding one. And that signal, unhurried, deliberate, is visible to everyone around you from the first 30 seconds. A maitre I know at a Relais and Chateau property in Burgundy told me he could identify a first-generation diner within moments of being seated, not by their clothes, by their bread. Before we move on, if this kind of detail is what you are here for, I have built a full 30-day curriculum around exactly this kind of work. It's called the Undeniables Blueprint. 70 pages, 4 phases, the complete internal system for the woman who is done being overlooked. It's $47 and it's linked in the description. Now back to the table. 2. Your hands stay visible, always. This one surprises almost every non-French person at the table because it directly contradicts what most of us were taught. In France, hands in your lap are not polite, they are suspicious. The tradition traces back to medieval dining, when keeping your hands above the table was how you demonstrated to your host that you were not concealing a weapon. The rule survived because the signal it sends never became irrelevant. Visible hands communicate openness, trust, and ease. The correct position is wrists resting lightly on the table edge on either side of your plate, not elbows, wrists. And this position is held throughout the entire meal, including when you are not eating. What makes this particularly powerful is what it does to your posture. Hands on the table keeps your spine upright, your shoulders back, and your head level. The woman who practices this consistently carries herself differently within 60 days. Not because she is performing anything, but because the habit has restructured how she physically occupies a room. 3. Your cutlery is a silent language, and people are reading it. In France, how you place your knife and fork communicates directly to your server and your host, without a word. Fork and knife crossed loosely on your plate, pointing inward. You are taking a pause, but have not finished. Fork and knife placed together diagonally across the plate, pointing to the upper left. You are done. What most people do, setting their cutlery down randomly between bites or placing it flat across the rim, signals something the French read immediately. This person was not raised with the codes. A luxury buyer I worked with in New York for several years told me she assessed every business dinner guest by their cutlery before the first course was cleared. Not as a test, as information. She said the women who knew the codes were always the ones she trusted with more. 4. You never say bon appétit in certain rooms, and the reason matters. This is the one that surprises people most. Bon appétit, said in the casual, cheerful way most of us use it, is considered slightly vulgar in formal French society. The phrase literally means good digestion. At a bourgeois or formal table, drawing attention to the physical act of eating before the meal has even begun is considered gauche. The correct signal at a formal table is simply the host beginning to eat. That is your cue. No announcement, no phrase, just the quiet understanding that the meal has started. This distinction between what is performed and what is simply understood is at the center of everything I have spent 15 years observing in high-functioning social rooms. The women who belong in those rooms do not announce. They signal, quietly, deliberately, and they are read correctly by everyone who knows how to look. 5. You fold your salad. You never cut it. This one has a specific, verifiable origin that I find genuinely interesting. In traditional French households with proper silver cutlery, the acid in vinaigrette dressing would damage the silver blade of a salad knife. So the practice of cutting salad leaves was simply never done. Leaves were folded with the fork and knife into a small parcel, then brought to the mouth. The utensils changed, the rule stayed, and now it serves a different purpose. It instantly separates women who have been at French tables before from those who have not. If a leaf is too large, you fold it. Meticulously, deliberately, however long it takes. The patience required to do this correctly at a table is itself a signal. It says, I am in no rush. I have done this before. I belong here. Your assignment, your next dinner, practice all 5. And come back and tell me which one felt most unnatural. That is exactly where your work is. Until next time, you are not here by accident. You are an undeniable. Act like it. Isabel.